Hi, so today I'm going to discuss two strategies for working with ELL, English language learners. The first one is syntax surgery, which is the 20-second strategy in our book. The content area is writing, and this is an activity where a sentence is written on a sentence strip, and then it is cut apart and rearranged to make a more comprehensible sentence for the student to understand. The first step you would do would be identify a problematic sentence. This involves identifying a sentence that is causing difficulty. It's like a sentence that if you heard one of your students say that was incorrect and you wanted to reference it. The second step would be to write the sentence and initiate the surgery. Write the sentence on a sentence strip and read aloud with students during the activity. Then, using a pair of scissors, you'd cut the parts of the sentence that are causing difficulty. So, for example, the sentence, the cat black. Well, in Spanish, it would make more sense to be in that order, the words to be in that order, but in English, the word order would be different. It would be the black cat. So what you would do is you would cut the black from the sentence and you would move it to the middle of the sentence to make a more comprehensible sentence. And that leads us to our third step, which would be rearrange the words. So you would rearrange the words in the correct English sequence and read the sentence aloud, stating, "This is how we would say it in English." Then you would put the words back into the original order and say, "This would be the right order of the words in Spanish, but we say it this way in English," and put the words back in the correct order for English. So you would have the cat black. Well, then to make it in the English order, English word order, you would do the black cat. Then to show them the original sentence, you would say, "This is how you would say it in Spanish." It would be the cat black. And then you would rearrange it back to the English word order, which would be the black cat. Then the fourth step would be to practice more sentences with the same pattern. You would write a few more sentences on sentence strips with the same word pattern, and then have the students read them for extra practice. And you always want to make sure to time the lessons properly. That's the fifth step, is time the lessons. You do not want to interrupt communication with the student to do the lesson. Simply, like if you hear the student say a sentence that doesn't have the correct English word order, you would simply respond to them with the correct English word order. Then write down the sentence and have a lesson later on. You don't want to hinder communication with the student by constantly trying to have lessons when you speak to them. So time lessons would be, do not interrupt communication with the student to do the lesson. Simply respond with the correct order in English. Then write the sentence down and return to it at a later time to use syntax surgery. So the purpose of syntax surgery is that it's very helpful to students because it makes it easy for them to understand sentences as they watch the sentence be rearranged. It is also helpful in refining the students' understanding of the elements of writing and speaking that makes their English difficult to understand when speaking to others. So it'll also help them with their confidence in speaking English. And my source for this was 50 Strategies for Teaching English Language Learners, 4th edition. So let's move on to our next strategy, strategy number 32, read, pair, share. The content area for this strategy is reading, and this strategy is a partner activity where the partners read together and they stop after each paragraph to answer the traditional who, what, when, where, and how questions related to the text. If either partner cannot come up with an answer, they can return to the text to find the answer. So this is a play on the think, pair, share strategy. And so this helps English language learners to read and understand the text that they're reading. The first step you would do is to introduce the question words. Start the activity by introducing the question words who, what, when, where, and how, and explain them to students. Explain what they mean. You can reference how newspaper reporters always have to answer these 5 questions to make sure they tell an accurate story. And this is true. If you're reading a news article, the news reporter has to tell you exactly what these things are so you know the whole story. The second step would be model each step of the strategy. Here we will begin to model each strategy for the students. Ask one student to be your partner and give the class a paragraph and questioning format page to practice the strategy with. Explain to the students that first you will read the paragraph silently and model silent reading while the class does the same. Step number 3 would be model how to work with a partner. Explain to the students that they will work together in pairs to answer the questions. This is the share step, and it involves referring back to the paragraph to share the location of the answers to the questions or share the responsibility of rewording the questions to fit the paragraph. You will model this step with your student partner as the class observes, modeling how you will find the answers and writing words, phrases, or sentences on the questioning format page. Then you will tell the class that they will be sharing their answers with the rest of the class. Our next step would be to model the modifying of questions. And it is important to model the process of modifying questions to fit a paragraph because students often have difficulty understanding how to do this. You can use some simple sample paragraphs on the overhead or a smartboard to show how to modify questions to make it appropriate for the paragraph. For example, the paragraph might not say where the location is, so the question where can be modified to does the paragraph give you any hints as to where this took place? Like, does it talk about the kind of clothes they were wearing or what the weather was like? That kind of thing. Our next step would be to pair the students. This step is when you pair each student with a partner. Being careful not to pair 2 weak students together. You don't want to pair 2 students who are struggling together because it'll just make it harder on both of them. What you want to do is try to pair ELLs with strong English models to encourage language development. Give the students a reading assignment and the questioning pages, then give the students time to work on the assignment as you move about the room, assisting students as needed. Our last step would be to discuss the assignment. After the students have completed the assignment using the read, pair, share method, you bring the class together to discuss the process. And here you can encourage them to share the answers they found to the questions and any questions they modified. So the purpose of read, pair, share is the fact that it's a very strong reinforcing activity for English learners because it gives them the opportunity to read and reread tough text while receiving encouragement and support from their partner, especially if their partner is stronger in English than they are. It'll give them more confidence and reassurance in knowing, having another student explaining things to them. And the source for this strategy was 50 Strategies for Teaching English Language Learners, 5th edition. Thank you.